In celebration of Youth Month, this feature explores how coding and digital skills are transforming the lives of young people across South Africa. From classrooms to communities, technology is becoming a powerful tool for empowerment, innovation and opportunity. We spoke to Professor John Greyling, Head of Department of Computing Science at the Nelson Mandela University and founder of Tangible Africa, to share more about digital education and coding initiatives.
Tangible Africa movement, which aims to introduce learners across Africa to coding concepts without the need of computer labs, the internet or electricity. I believe the direct impact of coding is when we can get more and more young people trained as software developers so they can go into lucrative careers in South Africa, and we also find that many of the South African companies have clients in Europe and North America, so there's a huge, let's call it an export market for software development. Our young people do not need to leave the country, but they can stay and work for companies in South Africa with foreign clients.
Professor Greyling shared the story of a young person whose journey into coding left a lasting impression on him.
The one that immediately comes to mind is that of Katlego from Garankuwa. In grade 11, he attended one of our Tangible Africa workshops in Diepsloot, and just being exposed to coding in the gamification way we do it really inspired him to one day become a software developer. He went home, immediately improved his matric marks through his own endeavors by doing extra work on YouTube, etc. Got a good enough matric marks to get a bursary from Amazon, and is now a second-year computer science student at the University of Pretoria. Well on his way to get a very good qualification in software development and a very lucrative career in his future.
He further highlighted the ongoing challenges many young South Africans face in accessing opportunities to learning coding.
I think the biggest challenge in South Africa is the fact that 16,000 out of 25,000 schools in our country do not have computer laboratories. So if we keep on relying on hardware devices and expensive devices to introduce learners to coding, we are going to literally leave behind millions. Then there's also the challenge of very few teachers having experience in software development and in the careers and in coding. So there's very little guidance coming from schools because of ignorance. Millions of our learners grow up in societies where computer science and programming is not prevalent. So they grow up with a total ignorance of the careers. I would say those are the three biggest challenges. I need to be subjective here. The work that Tangible Africa is doing in terms of unplugged coding or offline coding, where we introduce literally tens of thousands of learners to coding concepts without the need of electricity, internet, computer labs. I think that's essential. If we really want to bridge the digital divide across our continent, we cannot depend on high-tech devices to do that. We need to find strategic and alternative ways. And unplugged coding, not just Tangible Africa, many other organizations are doing unplugged coding, is for me the definite way to go. Then we need to move away the emphasis that we want to develop software developers at primary school. We just need to make them aware of these careers, entice them, and then have good schools where they can get good marks in maths and some of the other STEM subjects, so that after matric they can go to a university or another institution and get training in software development. If you want to go into the digital economy, the main message I want to bring to you is continue with mathematics. Don't let anyone convince you to leave mathematics before matric. If your school doesn't present it, go to a school where you can get a good education in mathematics. That's critical. But then the new world of AI does not only want technical skills. It needs you to be able to think critically. It needs you to be able to communicate. It needs you to be able to solve problems. So create environments and join environments where these soft skills are enhanced, and then you have a good future.
Third-year computer science student at the University of Pretoria, Katlego Nyambi, shares his journey into the world of coding.
The computer science field that interests me the most is the field of computer graphics, so graphics programming. The biggest challenge I faced on my journey to computer science was when I first decided to study computer science, because at the time my marks were very low, so that discouraged me a bit because I didn't know if I was capable enough to get my marks high enough to be able to study computer science. But luckily I had people around me who could always encourage me and knew my potential, like Miss Trudy from Tangible Africa. She encouraged me, and I decided that fine, I'm not gonna let this stop me. I'm just going to have to improve my marks. Then I just started taking my studies seriously, asking questions, and I basically just fell in love with studying because I've never really tried it before with a purpose, but now I had a goal in mind. I had to study computer science. So that was my biggest challenge, just starting, because I was already behind, so I had to catch up on everything before. Learning coding and programming has really affected my life in a very major way because I now have at my disposal the skills to do almost anything I want. For example, I really love video games, and now that I'm into coding and programming, I know how games are made, and I can now make my own games, which is something I never thought I could do. So now, for when I just want to pass time, I just prototype some games, and I hope one day I get a major game to blow up and make something from it. But yeah, learning coding has opened up a lot of doors, very many of them. I want to use my skills to show young people just how many opportunities there are out there, because I feel like a lot of schools don't do enough to expose learners to the wide range of career paths there are in tech and beyond. As a result, many learners don't feel motivated, and it's not because they lack potential or anything, but it's just because they haven't discovered something that truly inspires them. I want to be part of changing that. I hope to use what I've learned to inspire others to explore, stay curious, and realize that there are so many paths worth trying.
These stories highlight the incredible potential of South Africa's youth when given the tools and opportunities to thrive in the digital world. As we continue to celebrate Youth Month, let us be reminded of the importance of access, support, and inclusion in shaping a future driven by innovation. For VOC News, I am Leandra Paulson.